Hey guys, so this is a watercolor painting of Amren from The Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I'm not really going to talk about the book that much, but just I liked it a lot. But yeah, this is more about the painting process. So I'm using some watercolors, German brand, I think Pelikan. They're the transparent ones though, not the opaque ones. They have both. By that brand. They're kind of like student watercolors. They're not super expensive, and they give you really big pans, which I like. Um, they're not as pigmented with one dip, but like you'll see later on, I still get a lot of dark colors out of it, and I like them a lot. And you get a lot of paint in the box, which is really nice. And then when like you can see my yellow in the corner, I finished it, so I just bought a tube of yellow paint from like Grumbacher or something and refilled it. Um, so yeah, it's pretty good. It comes with like water cups and a palette and everything in the corner. What else am I using? Brush is from Daiso, which is like a Japanese dollar store. Um, so that's not like expensive art supply or anything either. But the paper is kind of expensive. It's Arches watercolor paper. I forgot what size it is. I'll check. I'll put it in the description. All the supplies will be in the description. But it's kind of small. And it's a block, not a pad. Yeah, and the palette is just random plastic one. It's also new, which is why the water's reacting really weirdly, is because it's not like broken in yet. It's still has like glossy coating. Which is also why you might see me using like a pipette to put water in there instead of just using my brush, because it didn't want to take the water off my brush. So, yeah. Oh, and I'm also using a hairdryer to dry in between layers. Funny thing is, I don't even own a hairdryer, even though I'm like a girl or whatever. It's actually my dad's. Um, every time I use watercolors, I have to go to his bathroom and steal it. I think he uses it to dry my dog after we give him a bath. Um, so I kind of went a little over the lines and stuff with her hair. It kind of got onto her face and everything, but with watercolors, you kind of just go with it. Uh, like you'll see me make a few like different slip ups here and there, and you just have to kind of keep going because watercolor, it's very easy to ruin it when you're trying to fix it. So, like, you could make small efforts, but the paper can get ruined, and a flat wash can get ruined. Oh, also speaking of flat washes, this is my first time ever watercoloring on a flat surface, because to record it I put it on my desk. So that was interesting, because normally I paint sitting somewhere and I tilt it on my knees. So I like sit on my bed or whatever, or I use a drawing board on like a drawing easel or horse or whatever. So that was weird trying to make washes with it flat, but I kind of figured it out. But you could see you could see it in the darker colors it's a little patchy because I'm not used to working on a flat surface. I'm used to the wash kind of falling down and not being patchy. If you watercolor on a slanted surface, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, also I kind of messed up that eye on the left of the video. I'll fix it later, don't worry. It's gonna look worse and worse and worse as I do like shading and everything, but I fix it in the end. I use a pen on it because the watercolor, I'm using a size 10 brush and it just wasn't cooperating. Because it's pretty big. I don't know why with watercolor I usually just use one brush, even though I own other brushes. I just don't use them. I like to use a really big brush, but one that has a point. I don't usually use a flat brush in watercolor. This is actually the first time I ever used one. You'll see me use it on the background at the end, but never used a flat brush for watercolor. So you'll see me mixing skin. I think I'm trying to make something to shade it with right now. I don't know if you see on the side, it's kind of hard to see because the palette's not completely on the camera. In view, I mean. I'm basically only using red, yellow, and blue for this, which is kind of how I paint normally. Even with like other kinds of paints and stuff, I typically only use red, yellow, and blue, unless it's a color I can't make with red, yellow, and blue, like something brighter or like a metallic or whatever. Or sometimes I actually use neutrals. If like I'm doing a painting in those colors. But I think the only color I use that isn't red, yellow, and blue in this painting is Viridian, which is that dark green next to the yellow. And I use it to make this dark color, which is my substitute for black, because I don't use black in majority of my artwork. So that's a mix of Viridian and the cooler red that you can see a sliver of next to the like ochre color. It's, I want to say it's like a alizarin crimson or something. Just a cool red mixed with Viridian. And that's how I make black substitute. I feel like it has more life, I guess, than straight black. I'm adding a little definition to the gold jewelry and stuff here, but I knew already that I wanted to go in with actual metallic watercolor, so you'll see me do it at the end. This shading, I messed up so many times, it was really a pain. I actually haven't watercolored in a super long time. I've done a few little like washes in my sketchbook and stuff on stuff, but I haven't done a full watercolor thing in a really long time. And I wouldn't really even say this is so complete and full. Like I use these pens, the hi-tec C pens. These are just like it kind of gives it a sketchier feel once I add these. These are water-based, so they're not waterproof, so this is why I'm doing them now. I'm using them now, I mean after I've done all the watercoloring, because they would get ruined. But I like them a lot. Water-based pens seem to be more pigmented, or no, not more pigmented, like brighter colors, and there's more variety than waterproof pens. So I don't mind doing them last on paintings and stuff like this anyways, so it's totally fine. I don't need to do the line art first. That is gold watercolor. It's not, it's the brand is, I think it's Schminke. Yeah, I've always wanted to get that big set that everyone has, with all the different gold paints. Forget what it's called, oh my gosh. Oh, hi-tec. Yeah, I've always wanted to get that because I love painting with gold. This one's like okay. It's definitely not as pigmented as what I've seen that is, but I don't know. It's pretty good for laying on top of stuff. That's why I had already put a little stuff down before going in with that, because if I had just gone in with it, it wouldn't look patchy, I think. So the background, I just did a flat wash. It's kind of like a gradient with it was the color I used like as a base for her clothes and hair, that like green color, gray green. That is metallic blue. This is like a really, really cheap set of metallic watercolors. They're kind of horrible. Oh, that's a great view of the hairdryer, thanks. They're pretty gluey and stuff, but they're fun to put on top of stuff. You can't paint with them like a real painting, though. Yeah, and they're not even that metallic. They're just they're a little shimmery, which is fun. I wouldn't use them on something like important though, but they're okay. I think they were like $5. I found them at some like random art store. It wasn't. Um, I don't know. I think I've heard people say they have similar stuff at like Michael's and whatever, but don't like expect a lot out of them. So now I'm going with the hi-tec C, and I'm just putting in lines where I think it needs it, which is something I do a lot of the time with watercolor and Copic illustrations. Is since I put the lines in at the end, I just think like where it actually needs the lines. Also with this, the pencil lines are kind of still there, which isn't usually how I work, but sometimes I do. But anyways, yeah, I'm just defining things that need, like the bracelets, like I'm separating them a little more, and I'm re-adding the like bolts and stuff on her jewelry, and defining her ear jewelry, and her nose and her lips, I guess. But I don't line the whole thing, and I use colors specific to the area that I'm lining, and I don't use black. So this is like mini workspace tour after this, so I'm just zooming in. You can kind of see the metallic paint. Yeah, here I'm trying to show it. And then I'll pick it up and move it around and see if, I don't know if it worked or not. Let's see. It's pretty shimmery in real life. Yeah, you can kind of see it a little. We good. We good. There's my workspace. It's a mess, as always. I normally paint in my bed, though. Anyways, thanks for watching.